Hey, everybody, welcome to day 2 of writing. This week, we're writing a friendly letter to Santa, and we're asking him to please bring us 3 things that we really want for Christmas. If you've already written one, well, you're writing another letter so that we can look at it on Thursday or Friday when you send a picture of it, and we can get an idea of how well you're writing. Okay, so remember that you will understand the parts of a friendly letter. You will understand how to use commas after the greeting and closing. And so, yesterday, what you did is you wrote down 3 things or 4 things that you wanted and why you wanted them. You drew a mind map for us, so you need to have that ready. You also filled in the white Santa letter with the date, with the greeting, like Dear Santa. You did your closing and you got to choose one. So there was a list of about 8 or 9. And then you put your signature with your first and last name with a capital letter at the beginning of both of them. All right, so here are the 5 parts of a letter again. There's a date, a greeting, a body, a closing, and a signature. The date goes over to the right hand side. It's kind of odd, but I'll show it to you when we go to write the Santa letter. The greeting is to the left, and it's always like dearest Sarah, dear Sarah, when it's a friendly letter, because this is more familiar. You're familiar with the person you're writing to. You have a body of a letter, and I saw some really great reindeer paragraphs, and I saw a lot of you indenting your first word on your first line because you have to tell your reader where you're starting in a paragraph. You have a closing, your friend, you had about 8 or 9 that you chose from, like I said, and you have a comma after it. And then your signature is always your first and last name, especially if you're writing to Santa, because he won't understand who, like there's probably like a million John Smiths, you know what I mean? So you have to kind of let him know who it is so he knows exactly who wants these presents, all right? Now, on our Santa letter yesterday, this is the white rough draft. You filled in the date, you filled in the greeting, and it already has the comma for you. So you didn't need to put another comma. You would have Dear Santa Claus, Dear Santa, Dear Kris Kringle, because we know that his name is also Kris Kringle. He also goes by St. Nicholas. So it could be Dear St. Nicholas. Now, the body we haven't done anything with other than you came up with 3 things you wanted and you had to say why. You did fill in your closing, which is you had the 8 or 9 things that you could choose from, and you did put your comma after that. And then you put your first and last name with capital letters because a name is a proper noun. It is a very specific noun. All right, now this is what mine looks like filled out. Of course, I've typed it. Yours is handwritten. You have a capital on December 14th because yesterday was December 14th. You have a capital here, a capital here, a capital here. You would normally put a comma, but I have that done for you. Down here is, if you notice, this is your right margin and this is your left margin. And if you notice, we are right in the center almost of our paper when you come down like this. And what it does is it meets up with the right margin, which is kind of odd. But the date, the header, the date, the closing, and the signature all start in that middle like that. And everything else starts over to the left. And then see, I even indented for you already. You don't have to worry about that because I pushed the line in. Here were your closings that you could choose. I hope you came up with one of these and you started with a capital letter right there because they do start with capital letters and they all end in a comma because you're going lovingly, taking a pause, and then saying Betty Hicks or your name. I hope you didn't put my name because then I'll get all your presents. All right, now this is your job today. You're going to open up your writer's notebook, and what we're filling in is we're filling in this right here. And this is like an intro where you say, "Hi, how are you? I hope you're doing fine. Here are three things that I want for Christmas." And I'll show you my list. Now, you could come up with your own, but it has to be along the lines where you've introduced, you've said like, "Dear Santa," and now you're talking to Santa. So you're saying, and you don't want to just jump in and go, "First, I want this. Next, I want this. Last, I want this," because Santa would be sitting there going, "Wow, this person is pretty selfish. They didn't even ask me how I was. They didn't even tell me if they've been a good boy or girl." All right. Then the other thing we're doing today is we're writing the two sentences that go in here to say, or really one. You could legitimately have one sentence because you could say, "This is what I want and this is why I want it." Okay. All right. Now let me back up here so that you can see these. These go in, instead of having like a topic sentence like, "Here are three things I want for Christmas." It's always nice because we're writing a letter to say, like, "Howdy, Santa. I've been a very good girl this year. I hope you bring me the following presents." That goes in that top circle because you're wanting to say, "Hi, Santa." And then you're wanting to say, "Wow, I've been a good girl or boy." You're wanting to say, "I would like these presents." And so normally this is about 2 to 3 sentences. Here's another one. "Hi, I hope you, your reindeer, and Miss Claus are well. Here is my Christmas list. Here's my Christmas wish list. Hi, I hope you're doing okay. I've been a wonderful girl all year. I hope you bring me lots of presents. How's it going, Santa? I hope you are making lots of presents. Here are three things I really want for Christmas. Hello, Santa Claus. I hope everyone in the North Pole is doing well. Here are three things I really want for Christmas. Hi, here are three things I would love you to bring me on Christmas morning." Now, see, this one's a little bit more selfish because you're not saying, "I hope you're doing okay," or "How is the reindeer," or "How are the elves?" You're just jumping in and saying, "Hey, hi, but this is what I want." It's okay. But if you really want things brought to you, it's always better to be nice. "Hello, jolly little Santa. I've been so good this year. Could you please bring me these presents? How is Mrs. Claus and the reindeer? Is it cold up in the North Pole? I would love you to bring me some presents on Christmas." Okay, so you can choose mine. You can choose one of these and use it. Or you now kind of have an example of what to do and how to do 2, 3 sentences. You want to say hi to him. You want to say, "How's everybody doing?" Or "How's the elves doing?" Or "How's the reindeer and the elves doing?" You want to end it maybe with, "I've been a really good boy or girl. Could you please bring me these presents?" All right. So I need you to stop your video in just a second. And I need you to think about that. Now you could write it first in your writer's spiral and then transfer it or move it to this area right now. So go ahead, and this will take you about 10 minutes to come up with this. You can always use mine, like I said. You can go, and I'll leave this right here where you can use mine. But I want you to fill in that top circle with a beginning of your body of your letter. Okay, so stop the video now and go ahead and do that. All right, so you now have this top circle filled out. You either wrote it yourself or you picked one of mine and you put it in that top circle. Now, picking mine is okay because when you're first starting to write friendly letters or you're first starting to write, modeling and using somebody else is a good thing. But I also know a lot of you are pretty creative and you probably came up with your own. All right. And remember, it's like, "Howdy, I've been a very good girl. I hope you bring me the following presents," because he wants you to introduce what you're talking about. Okay, now your job is to take the 3 or 4 things you wrote yesterday and turn them into sentences. Okay? Now there's 2 ways of doing that. You can take them and you could write the sentences right next to your ideas, or you could go to the mind map and you could just do it right there. First, I want this. Next, I want this and why. Finally, I want this and why. I like to do it right here because that saves me a step of the extra writing, but it also causes me to make some mistakes. All right, so now let me show you mine. I wanted the Alpine S speakers, I wanted the pedicure coupon, I wanted the Starbucks and the Ross card. I took these and I combined them together. I put them together. And I said, first, comma, I would like some new speakers for my Mustang. Please bring me Alpine speakers because they sound really good. All right. And I just found out that I don't need to ask Santa for this because my Chewy, my husband, is actually buying me speakers. I'm getting them next Thursday and I'm really excited. All right. So I'm probably not going to include this one in my letter because I've already got it. So that's my first. See how I took my idea and I turned it into a complete thought. And some of you still don't understand that when you capitalize first, I is always capitalized, but this next word after the comma right here is not capitalized. You're in the middle of a sentence. You're not starting a new sentence. Okay, here's my second sentence. Next, please bring me a pedicure coupon from Happy Nails in Silverdale, Washington. I need to get my toenails done in January. Now, I had to be very specific because I only go to Happy Nails. So I didn't want just a pedicure coupon from some random place, okay? And then finally, I would love to have either a Starbucks or Ross gift card. I love to buy black tees and I also enjoy buying new shirts. I'm going to add the word also right there. Okay, so now this is your job. You're going to take those ideas and you're either going to write them in sentences in your spiral, or you are going to go to your mind map and sorry about that, I'm recording at school. And you're going to take your idea and turn it into one or two sentences right here. If you go, I want Legos because I want candy because I want a baby Yoda, because that is really boring. That is really, really boring. And if you notice, I didn't do that. I want, I would love, I want. I said, first, I would like some. Next, please bring me. Finally, I would love to have. Do you see how I changed that? And it's not, I love this, I love that, I love that, I want this, I want that. Be careful with that. And so I think it would be nice if I leave this up for you just so you can see how I took my ideas and I turned them into sentences. So go ahead and stop your video now and either create these sentences or fill in your mind map. All right? All right. Now, I bet all of you went ahead and you've got this top circle filled out now. You've got either your sentences written for what you want or you filled in the mind map. If you filled in the mind map, you're done for the day. If you didn't fill in the mind map, then you have to take those sentences you wrote and put them into the mind map. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, writing takes time and it takes effort. So if you're whining and you're throwing yourself on the floor because, oh no, I have to write even more, you're going to have a miserable experience in school writing. Writing is creative and it's fun and it's expressive, and especially this letter. So tomorrow when we start, you will have this top circle filled out. You will have all three of these circles ready to go. And then tomorrow we're going to wrap it up. Okay? So have a wonderful day and I'll talk to you tomorrow and get everything done.